Matt Damon does not break people by being loud. He does not walk into a talk show like a storm. He does not need to shout to take over the stage. He does not try to become the funniest person in the room. Matt Damon is more dangerous than that. He simply stands there, keeps a perfectly straight face, says something that sounds completely serious, and lets the person across from him collapse all by themselves.
They're expensive. James looks like he can take a punch. I mean, I can't be the first time he's been punched in the face.
Matt's comedy lives in the coldness. A very Hollywood kind of cold. Smart, dry, and hard to defend against. When he insults someone, he says it like he is commenting on the weather. When he pretends to feel sorry for someone, the person receiving that sympathy somehow feels even worse. And when he makes himself the joke, he never looks embarrassed. He acts as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I doing? This is so humiliating. I'm sorry. I mean, you lost, and now you gotta stand out here for the rest of the night in front of everybody.
Some people break a room with huge energy. Matt Damon breaks a room by barely changing his expression. The calmer he is, the funnier he becomes. The softer he speaks, the harder the joke lands. The more innocent he looks, the more the person standing beside him feels like they have just walked into a trap.
And I'm like, and he goes, so I get another safety guy.
And that is why, in the modern talk show world, very few people can break celebrities, hosts, and audiences quite like Matt Damon. Not because he is trying to act funny, but because he performs as if he is not joking at all.
So your second movie is called Ass Face, with an arrow pointed right at me.
Yes, Matt.
The funniest thing about Matt Damon is that he was never built with the image of a comic. He was the young man from Good Will Hunting. He was Jason Bourne. He was the serious face in major films, the kind of actor who was supposed to protect a polished, handsome, slightly distant movie star image. But Matt chose to do the opposite. He takes that very movie star image and breaks it apart. The hair, the career, the famous best friend, the iconic roles, even the reputation he spent decades building. He turns all of it into comedy material.
It was hair extensions.
Oh, it wasn't real?
No, there are 700 hair extensions. It was a full day to put them in. They flew somebody, a wonderful woman from here, all the way to Beijing to do it, and we did it like on a Sunday. It took us the entire day.
Matt is not afraid to look ridiculous. And that is exactly what makes him dangerous on a talk show. The bigger the star, the stronger the laugh when he is willing to bring himself down. The audience is not just laughing at the line. They are laughing because Matt Damon, a man with every reason to look cool, chooses to stand there and expose himself first. But to understand how well Matt Damon breaks other people, you have to start with Jimmy Kimmel. Because to Matt, Jimmy is not just a host. Jimmy is his lifelong enemy. The man who turned an A-list movie star into a forgotten man, waiting backstage. A man invited every night, promised every night, and still cut from the show in the end.
It's not if you're invited. The judge was very clear about that. If you just stopped inviting me, then maybe I wouldn't come. But you invite me every day. You say I'm going to be on the show, and I've never been on the show. Okay, and so I took matters into my own hands.
It is a very simple joke, but Matt and Jimmy stretch it so far that it starts to feel like a real wound. Every time Matt appears, he does not perform like a cheerful guest. He performs like a man who has been humiliated for years and has finally been allowed to speak about his pain.
Scarlett had to kiss Scarlett.
I mean, come on.
Can you imagine how horrible that was for me?
Can you imagine how awful that was?
What? We did.
It's such a shame she has
really
such
funny.
terrible lips and everything. It must have been so awful.
It's hell. Okay, first of all.
Matt's gift is turning pettiness into art. He does not need to yell at Jimmy. He does not need to destroy the set. He does not need to grab the microphone. He only has to stand beside Jimmy at the exact moment Jimmy is weakest, then pretend to comfort him. But Matt's comfort is like handing a tissue to someone who is crying, then sprinkling salt on it.
I've taken over, or Jimmy would say he's been nice enough to give me, a room where I come and I wait every night. Every night.
An Oscar-winning movie star, a screen icon, is now talking about having to sit in a room every night, as if that were the greatest tragedy of his life. What makes it funny is not that the story is so absurd. It is that Matt tells it so seriously.
Yeah.
Now he's jacked.
Now he's jacked. And I joked that he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's like, good morning. He's like got muscles on muscles, you know what I mean? He looks great. He looks great. So that was my cat story, sorry.
Oh, that was lovely. That's nice.
That is Matt's familiar formula. Take something ridiculous and tell it with the straightest possible voice. Even a cat on steroids can become Arnold Schwarzenegger. A tiny family story can make an entire table laugh, simply because Matt knows how to keep a straight face until the very end. With Jimmy Kimmel, Matt is even more poisonous. He does not just poke at failure. He stretches that failure out for a few extra beats, forcing Jimmy to live inside the embarrassment a little longer.
No, I don't get a trophy then. Are you finished? You done?
Wait, who did get a trophy? Who won?
John Oliver, he was just out here. What do you mean who won?
Yes.
The more Jimmy tries to move the show forward, the more Matt pulls him back to the sore spot. A question that sounds harmless. A voice that sounds concerned. But underneath it is a carefully hidden satisfaction. That is Matt Damon's comedy. He does not need to say, I am teasing you. He lets the other person realize it on their own. And that moment of realization is when the room breaks.
Have you seen the Jason Bourne movies? I mean, the whole point, James, is that the action is gritty and real, and we don't use crash pads. I mean, if you know there's a crash pad there, then I know there's a crash pad there, and that means the audience knows that you know that I know that you know there's a crash pad there. And then...
When he moves over to James Corden, Matt brings a different kind of cruelty with him. He is no longer the bitter old friend in a fake feud. Now Matt becomes the cold, professional, slightly terrifying version of Jason Bourne. He talks about danger like he is talking about a shooting schedule. He talks about pain like it is just part of making cinema feel authentic.
Walked out, and it was one of those, I went full lizard brain, and I realized, oh my God,
You mean you just froze?
I completely froze. It was like I couldn't physically move. It was crazy. And
Right.
The interesting thing is that Matt never forgets to pull himself down too. He can tell stories about wild stunts, but he is also willing to admit that he froze with fear. He is both Jason Bourne in the audience's memory and a normal man who can panic, back away, look at Tom Cruise and think, no, I'm out.
Well, the other day, someone said, I loved you in the attachment bureau.
The more famous Matt Damon became, the more material he had to destroy. A movie remembered by the wrong title, a role too iconic for its own good, a moment that should have stayed glamorous. He does not protect those things like an overly serious star. He brings them in front of the audience and lets everyone laugh with him.
you have a movie called Stupido, and an arrow pointed towards me.
Yes, Matt Damon.
With Guillermo, Matt falls into a different kind of hell. Nobody hits him. Nobody even has to argue with him. All it takes is a few stupid posters, a few crude arrows, and one man who refuses to leave the frame. And Matt's calm begins to wear down. But the more impatient he gets, the funnier he becomes. Because Matt does not explode. He cracks, little by little.
And his lead guest was my old friend, Ben. And I bribed Ben to sneak me into his jacket.
Then Ben Affleck enters the story as an essential part of it. To audiences, Matt and Ben are not just two actors. They are a memory of another kind of Hollywood. Two Boston kids who wrote Good Will Hunting, won an Oscar together, and grew up in front of the public. But in Jimmy Kimmel's world, that beautiful friendship becomes a smuggling operation to sneak Matt Damon onto a talk show.
Business lunches, yeah, we called them business lunches.
And you were like 14.
Yes, I was 16 and he was 14, and there were two cafeterias. We went to a very big high school. There were 3,000 kids, and there was the main cafeteria and then what they called the media cafeteria, which was a small.
What keeps Matt and Ben's friendship alive on screen is that it is not trapped inside the glow of fame. They are not just two famous people retelling a victory story. In the way Matt talks about Ben, there is still the feeling of two old friends who once sat at school lunch and called it a business lunch, as if they had already begun negotiating with Hollywood as teenagers.
You know, what am I supposed to do with it?
When you wanted to buy that zoo, what did I tell you?
That zoo was for both of us. That zoo was supposed to be something beautiful.
And when Matt brings that friendship into comedy, everything becomes both ridiculous and familiar. A zoo that supposedly belongs to both of them sounds like an emotional tragedy. But the subject is so absurd that you cannot take it seriously. That is a very Matt Damon move, inflating a stupid little detail until it sounds like a major emotional event.
it was not just, it was like
Pooh River.
Pooh River.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was actually a location that we just called Pooh River.
Matt is also very good at pulling Hollywood back down to earth. After the red carpets, the glossy posters, the movie star image, sometimes all that is left is a river that stinks. And Matt does not tell that story like a man complaining. He tells it like a man who knows he has just found gold in the mess.
Hey, can we cheer Jimmy up? How about, he's a big loser. Big round of applause for him. No, big loser.
Back with Jimmy, every jab from Matt feels like a knife wrapped in a smile. He does not stab too quickly. He gives the audience time to see Jimmy trapped there, trying to laugh, while Matt turns him into the big loser with the face of a concerned friend.
You know, it's sad what happened to James, but he died doing what he loved to do, and that's something I think we can all...
With James Corden, Matt gets even colder. He can stand in front of an imaginary disaster and react as if he is reading a prepared memorial. No panic, no guilt, no regret. Just one calm sentence that feels completely wrong.
I'm tapping out because you win. You are the best. Like there is, at that point when you get the safety guy, whose only job is to keep you safe, says that's too dangerous.
Yeah.
My reaction is, too bad we can't do that sequence I came up with. It would have been really cool.
Right.
His reaction is, no, we're getting another safety guy.
Yeah.
When he talks about Tom Cruise, Matt changes rhythm again. He does not mock Tom by making him small. He tells the story of Tom like a kind of action legend who has gone so far that normal people can only stand outside and stare. It is not quite ridicule. It is not quite admiration. It is amazement mixed with fear.
If you're gonna do a double cheeseburger, why not get the special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on the sesame seed bun?
Sometimes Matt can make something completely ordinary funny just by taking it too seriously. A burger in Matt's mouth suddenly sounds like an issue that needs to be analyzed with strategic logic. He does not act like he is joking. He acts like he truly has a point to defend.
You know what? Can you just zoom in? Can you get a shot? Just zoom in, please, close on my face. Can you?
Matt's desperation around Guillermo is a different kind of comedy. It is not a sharp attack. It is a movie star trying to rescue his own frame. The more he tries to keep everything clean, the deeper he gets pulled into the foolishness.
And its host. This is Jimmy Kimmel Live. And that's an ass face.
That's an ass face?
An ass face. That's supposed to be an ass.
Yes, okay.
And that's how I feel about Jimmy.
In the therapy sessions with Jimmy, Matt shows even more clearly that he understands the power of pretending to be serious. A stupid drawing can become psychological evidence. A childish insult can be presented as a deep emotional wound. The more Matt acts like he is opening up, the more distorted everything becomes.
Third acts take place at the same time, so technically James Bourne has, James Bourne.
Even with very short lines, Matt can make them land. Not because the line is overly clever, but because his timing is so dry. He drops it at the exact right second, then pulls back and lets everyone else laugh.
This is true. The dude's name is Chad.
In everyday stories, Matt has a rare ability to know which strange little detail will keep an audience listening. He does not need to build too much. Just a neurologist for a cat named Chad, and the whole story already starts leaning toward comedy.
Now, just get up and just give each other
You mean like
hug.
hug each other?
And when Matt and Jimmy are forced to heal, the comedy is no longer only in the lines. It is in the discomfort. Two grown men, two famous personalities, placed in an intimate moment they both clearly hate. And the audience laughs because they know this reconciliation is only making the feud funnier.
Tight shot of the kiss, and she goes, "Oh shit!" She goes, I literally just had like an onion sandwich.
Matt Damon can also destroy a Hollywood fantasy with one detail. A romantic kissing scene with Scarlett Johansson should sound glamorous, but Matt drags it down somewhere very real, very low, and very funny. Hollywood, in his version, is no longer beautiful lighting. It smells like onions.
Oh, hey, Jimmy. Yeah. Tell your mom I like them apples.
And when he needs to finish a humiliation, Matt knows how to use his own past as the final hit. Good Will Hunting was the symbol that helped him enter Hollywood. Years later, it becomes the weapon he uses to stab Jimmy Kimmel One last time. Matt Damon is not the funniest man in the traditional sense. He does not need to become the center of every laugh. He does not raise the energy too high or blow up the room with chaos. He does the opposite. He keeps everything small. He keeps his face straight. He keeps his voice calm. Then he says one line that makes everyone around him crack. Jimmy Kimmel cracks because Matt turns a running gag into a lifelong feud. James Corden cracks because Matt turns Jason Bourne into a backstage nightmare. Guillermo makes Matt crack through stupidity he cannot escape. Ben Affleck gets pulled in as an unwilling accomplice. And Tom Cruise, through Matt's telling, becomes a legend who is both impressive and terrifying. And through all of it, Matt Damon keeps the same face, as if he is only telling the truth.
But I think Matt Damon is really amazing in the fourth Bourne movie.
By the way, this is the best time I've ever had on the talk show.
Maybe that is why Matt Damon is so special. He does not try to prove he is funny. He simply walks into the room, lets everyone think he is the most serious person there, and quietly ruins all that seriousness. Not with shouting, not with madness, but with one deadpan line placed at exactly the right moment, cold enough to make the whole room lose it.